Thank you, Shomit. Thanks to the organizers. Thanks to every one of you for this opportunity to address the corporate leaders, managers, and management students of Calcutta. I believe that the only way India can solve the problem of poverty is by reducing unemployment and by creating a large number of jobs with good income. You people are the prime movers of this task. You do this by creating a globally competitive corporation in India. It doesn't matter whether it was the past normal, new normal, pandemic, no pandemic, doesn't matter what it is. But your objective will have to be to create a globally competitive corporation operating out of India. What are the attributes of such a corporation? Let me spend a little bit of time talking about it. The first and the foremost is the desire to earn respect from every stakeholder of the corporation. That is, from customers, employees, investors, vendor partners, government of the land, and the society. Of these, the most important stakeholder is the society, since the society contributes customers, employees, investors, and vendor partners. Society also contributes bureaucrats and politicians. If you earn the respect of the society, then you will attract good customers, good employees, long-term investors, and you will be able to create enduring relationships with vendor partners, bureaucrats, and politicians, or will be comfortable in dealing with you and will create policies conducive to the growth of your company if you are a respected corporation. How does your company earn respect from the society? It is simple. Before taking any decision, ask whether your decision will make the society a better place. That means you should not play a zero-sum game with the society, whether it is by gouging the customers, by shortchanging your employees, by using corporate resources for your personal benefits, by creating asymmetry of benefits vis-a-vis minority shareholders, by cheating the government on taxes, or by creating externalities like polluting our rivers, our environment, or taking away a disproportionate part of common goods like water for producing your product. Over a period of time, your actions on these principles will speak louder than your words, and your community will start respecting you. Your company should focus on good governance if you want respect from your stakeholders. Good governance is about deciding to do the right and respectable things, while good management is about doing that right thing well. Good corporate governance is about creating sustained competitive differentiation in the marketplace to maximize the shareholder value legally, ethically, and on a sustainable basis while ensuring fairness, transparency, and accountability to every stakeholder of your company. That is, to your customers, your employees, your investors, your vendor partners, your government of the land, and your community. Governance is a reflection of the culture and the values of a company's board and management. Good governance in a company enhances joy, confidence, trust, and enthusiasm of its stakeholders. The primary functions of a corporate board include ensuring a robust quality growth of both the top line and the bottom line of the company, protecting and enhancing the reputation of the company, reviewing, critiquing, and improving the strategy presented by the management, setting clear KPIs for the CXOs and other officers of the company, recommending a fair and performance-based compensation to the CXOs and other officers of the company, and after obtaining the approval of the shareholders, creating a succession plan for the CXOs and key officers of the company, identifying risks and taking timely action to mitigate those risks, putting in place a system of information control, checks and balances, and ensuring that these systems are secure and they are working properly, ensuring full compliance of the regulations required by every statutory authority of the land, getting capital and revenue budgets prepared and approved after informed discussions, applying mind, reviewing, and modifying if necessary, and finally approving acquisitions, bonds, debt issues, mergers, dividends, rights issues, bonus shares, and buyback of shares proposed by the management, addressing shareholder grievances in a fair and transparent manner, and installing a robust whistleblower policy and ensuring the proper functioning to address the complaints of whistleblowers. There are three key players in a corporate governance system: the shareholders or the owners of the company in proportion to the number of voting shares they hold in the company. The board of directors is responsible for the governance of the company. The board oversees the management. The board is appointed by the shareholders and is therefore accountable solely to the shareholders. The CXOs and other executive officers form the management of the the company. They run the business and report the performance of the company to the shareholders periodically through the board of directors. The primary corporate governance problem is to minimize agency costs. Agency cost is the cost incurred by the management to achieve the objectives of the company as defined by the shareholders. Agency costs tend to be inflated due to the divergence of interest between the management on the one hand and the shareholders on the other hand. In the so-called professional managed companies, such costs manifest as the propensity of management leaders to wring out of a weak and pusillanimous board unusually high and unjustifiable compensation for themselves, and to violate the company rules to use the company's resources for their personal benefits and for their personal comforts. In the case of the so-called promoter-managed companies, this problem generally manifests as the asymmetry of benefits created by these owner-managers in their favor and against the interest of other shareholders. A typical example of this would be the use of the assets of a listed company owned partially by an owner-manager to fund the growth of a private company held wholly or to a large extent by the owner-manager, his or her family, and his or her friends. This is generally called a related party transaction. That is, conducting a company's financial transactions with either a senior management staff or his or her relatives and friends. Generally, such transactions result in inflated costs and result in financial damages to the company and favor the other party in the transaction. The duty of a board is to apply their mind and prevent such transactions. The four most KPIs of a company in our country at this point of time, or for that matter, any point of time, should be the maximization of per capita after-tax income generated, the number of jobs created, the compensation of the lowest level employee in your company, and the per capita net export income generated by your company. Your company exists to satisfy your customers. As Sam Walton once said, without a customer, there is no company. Therefore, you must remember that there is no company without customers. Your responsibility is to attract the maximum number of customers from the marketplace. Therefore, the primary responsibility of a good company is to embrace competition, learn from the marketplace, and create the best and next practices on a global basis in every function of the company to become the market leader on a global basis. Economists say that a buyer receives value from the seller and the seller receives money from the buyer in any market transaction. Being the best in the industry on a global basis means delivering the best value per rupee paid by your customers. This helps the companies to in fact enhance their prices too. Therefore, by enhancing the value that your customer receives from you and ensuring that value over price ratio is higher than any of your competitors, you have an opportunity to increase the denominator, which is the price. And therefore, there will be two winners in this game, your customers and your company. This is a win-win solution, therefore, for both the customer and your own company. Now let me come to employees. Employees are the most important assets of any corporation because they bring innovation through the power of human mind. Competence and values are the true metrics of a good employee. That's why the Infosys byline used to be driven by intellect and driven by values. It is the responsibility of the corporation to ensure that every employee has pride in working for your company. It is the responsibility of your corporation to ensure that the confidence, enthusiasm, pride, hope, and satisfaction of every employee is high in the fairness, transparency, and accountability of every decision taken by the company. In fact, your biggest challenge is to attract, enable, empower, and retain the best and the brightest employees. Any company that has managed to do it will succeed, not just in the Indian marketplace, but in the global marketplace too. In order to enhance the confidence of your employees in the company, you have to embrace meritocracy in hiring employees. You have to clearly define the job profile, clearly define the KPIs, and clearly define the growth path for their advancement in the years to come in your company. You have to ensure that every decision taken about them is based on data and facts and not opinions and biases. That is why I always say, in God we trust. Everybody else brings data to the table. You have to protect the dignity and respect of every employee, from the janitor to the senior most officer. All your doors must always be open. If you are free, anybody should be in a position to walk into your office and talk to you. Many of my international friends tell me that the productivity of Indian workforce is behind that of the workers of many other nations. Work productivity is one important component of revenue productivity. You know it better than I do. So please benchmark the work productivity of your people with the work productivity of employees of the best global company in your area, in your sector, and make sure that the work productivity of your employees comparable or in fact better than the global best company first, and then you try and make it so much better than your competitor. Provide your employees with whatever technology and whatever facilities they want to improve their work productivity. At the end of the day, as I told you before, if you improve their work productivity, then their revenue productivity will improve, their quality will improve, their rework will reduce, and your profits will reduce. Therefore, work productivity is extremely important. Now let me come to investors. Investors have trusted your company and put in their hard-earned money in your company. So transparency is very, very important when dealing with investors, particularly when an item of bad news is concerned. My own experience tells me that investors understand that every company, no matter how great it is, no matter how much of longevity it has shown, will have ups and downs from time to time. That is, after all, part of the business cycle. However, what they want you to do is to level with them, be honest with them, be transparent with them at all points of time. That's why I believe in the adage, let the good news take the stairs, but ensure that the bad news always takes the elevator. Finally, remember that you own a huge responsibility to export a lot, create good jobs, and to reduce poverty in our country. That can only happen if you keep these three objectives in big letters on your table in the office. Higher salary for the lowest level employee, more and more jobs, better and better exports. These are the three mantras. The moment you want better and better exports, then your work productivity has to be better, your quality has to be better, your innovation has to be better, your employees have to work smarter. Everything takes care of if you focus on exports. I have no doubt at all that you will succeed in your endeavor to remove unemployment from India and in the process make your company the most respected and the most successful company. I always say performance leads to recognition, recognition leads to respect, and respect leads to power. Therefore, if you want to be seen as a powerful company on the global scene, if you want to be the high table at Davos or any other multinational platforms, there is only one vaccine. There's only one solution, and that is performance. I hope every Indian will understand that just talking big words is not what is going to give us respect, what is going to give us power. Performance. We have seen other countries which were like India have gone on to become number two, number three economies in the world. That happened only because they enhanced their exports, they became much more prosperous, and therefore everybody respected. So therefore, please keep that performance is the only antidote you have for deriving respect, not just in India, not just in Calcutta, but everywhere in the world. And kindly do everything necessary to make sure that you become the best performing company on a global basis. Thank you very much for this opportunity. I'm very, very grateful to you people for this extraordinary opportunity to speak to you all. My best wishes to everybody in Calcutta. It's a great city. It has a great history, and therefore Calcutta deserves to be the best performing city in the world. Definitely in India, but once upon a time it was one of the best known cities in the world, and that task of making Calcutta one of the best known cities in the world is entirely in the hands of you people. Kindly seize that opportunity and make sure that Calcutta regains its rightful place. Thank you.